Labrīt visiem! Man prieks jūs sveikt šajā saulainajā un dzestrajā rītā un saka, ka šādos rītos rodas ļoti produktīvas idejas. Latvijas Investīcija attīstības aģentūra jau 4. gadu kopā ar BT1 un izstādi Baltic, fashion&textile rīko šādu veidu semināru, kurā informē par modes tendencēm, aktualitātēm nozarēm. Un arī šodien mums ir pieaicināti vairāki eksperti, tajā skaitā gan eksperts no Lielbritānijas, kurš mums izstāstīs par modes zīmola virzīšanu eksporta tirgos, tāpat arī pieredzējusi projektu un mārketinga eksperti no Francijas dalīsies ar pieredzi par to, kas ir modes virzītāja spēku un arī tendences nākamajām sezonām. Un, protams, arī mums ir eksperti Latvijā, kas dalīsies ar pieredzi par to, kā perspektīvi izstrādāt gan zīmolus, gan virzīt šos produktus ārējos tirgos. Latvijas Investīcija attīstības aģentūra arī jums ir gatava palīdzēt, un jau šogad mums ir notikuši vairāki pasākumi. Tajā skaitā janvārī organizējām nacionālo stendu izstādē Francijā, Salon International Della, kurā piedalījās mūsu apakšveļas zīmolu ražotāji, un šogad pirmo reizi mēs organizējam nacionālo stendu arī Amerikā, izstādē Playtime New York, kas ir tieši uz bērnu apģērbu ražotājiem tendence. Tāpat aktīvi organizējām tirdzniecības misijas, kurā Latvijas modes un dizaina priekšmetu ražotāji var doties uz ārvalstu vizītēm, un nu pat mūsu ražotāji atgriezās no Hāgas, kurā piedalījās tieši ar saviem ražotajiem produktiem un iepazīstināja mērķa auditoriju. Jau vairākus gadus organizējam Latvijas dienas ārvalstīs ar nosaukumu Taste Latvija, un arī tur ir sadaļa par modi un dizainu. Līdz šim šādas aktivitātes esam veikuši Somijā, Azerbaidžānā, Kazahstānā, Itālijā. Šogad plānojam Lietuvā jau aprīlī un arī Baltkrievijas Fashion Week ietvaros. Tā kā ļoti aicinam arī jūs pieteikties ar saviem produktiem, jo organizējam gan modes skatas, gan arī pop-up veikalus. Jau 3. gadu organizējam arī apakšveļas biznesa fórumu, un arī šogad tas notiks gada 2. pusē, kur tiek aicināti gan Latvijas uzņēmēji, gan arī ārvalstu iepirkēji, un pagājušajā gadā mums jau piedalījās 150 šāda veida uzņēmumi. Tā vēl arī aicinu jūs izmantot Eiropas struktūru fondus un piedalīties starptautiskās izstādēs ārvalstīs arī ar saviem individuālajiem stendiem, kuros tātad jūs varat izstādīt gan savu produkciju un saņemt 80% līdzfinansējumu no stenda izmaksām, no stenda laukuma īres, kā arī savām aviobiļetēm. Es novēlu jums radošu, pozitīvu un iedvesmas bagātu dienu, lai palīdzētu jūsu unikālos produktus tālāk virzīt arī ārvalstu tirgos. Paldies!
Paldies tev par veiksmīgiem un pozitīviem ievadvārdiem. Ar jūsu aplausiem es vēlos aicināt šeit skatus Antons Dell. Anton Dell, please welcome. The stage is yours.
Welcome. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about fashion. Fashion is my world. Some of you as students, you will learn things that you will not learn in your college, things about the way fashion works, things you will need to know. So let me start off by hoping this works properly. Okay, so today we're going to talk about export, how to be successful, researching global markets, getting your collection right for the market, Distributors and agents, what is the difference? You know, when you make a collection, you have to sell it once you've designed a brand. And how do you sell it? Finding and identifying the best partners for yourself. Payments, how to get money. Oh, we all start and we don't have much money, so we have to find a way to do that. Debt risk assessment. Brexit. We'll talk a little bit about Brexit, not too much. Selling and other things. So, this is not very efficient, but it's good. Yes. Okay, so me. I've been in fashion all my life. As I often tell people, if you cut me, there's no blood. Fashion is coming out. I started in my parents' fashion retail shops where I used to work. I became a manufacturer. I was an agent representing different brands. I have also been working as a consultant in different areas. But for the last 20 years, 22 years in fact, I specialize in helping fashion brands to find partners in other countries to sell. You can sell your own brand in Latvia, but if you want to grow and you want to develop your business into the rest of the world, you have to have a passion to export, and to find a way to export, it's not easy. And we specialize in helping people to do that. I think the most important thing is designing your collection and finding the way forward from there. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. You're going to make your own fashion company. Now, when you start in any business, there is always a risk. But without a risk, without taking one step, you won't go forward. And you have to know that sometimes that you'll make mistakes. That's okay. We all make mistakes. And it's only from mistakes that we learn. When we do everything in the right way, sometimes we don't learn, and then we learn much later on. So be prepared to take a risk, and be prepared that there'll be mistakes along the way. That way you'll grow. But if you just stand still, you'll stand still. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is build a brand. How will you do that? Sorry, just 1 second. So you want to build a brand. Have a plan. It's very important not just to think about building a brand, but have a plan to build your brand. Have a 6-month plan. Have a 1-year plan. Have a 5-year plan. Don't just do some designs and think, where shall I go from here? That really is going to make a difference. Create great designs. First step is your logo. Your logo is a very important part of the way you look, the way you present your brand to the world. An interesting logo can make a big difference. I'm going to talk today about a lot of things, but one of the key things, one of the most important things in fashion is image. Image is number 1. Image is number 2, and image is number 3. The whole world is about image. If you think about the way we communicate in the world from many, many years ago, when we first started communicating to other people, we used to chip into stone to leave messages, the cavemen. Then we learned how to write, and then we had the pen, and then we had telex, probably nobody remembers that. And we have fax, and then we have email, and we have text, and we send words to each other. But if you think about it, we don't even use words anymore so much in our text. We use little emojis, pictures. So pictures is what influences people. And the stronger your image, and the stronger your picture, and you're developing your brand, the more successful, the more people are going to make you stand out in the rest of the world. So image is very, very important. And here's some examples of how image works for some and not for others. this is not the most efficient clicker for some reason. Anybody help me here? Do you think straight over there? Okay. It's not working too well, I'm very sorry. Can we have some technical help? 1 second. Try again, sorry. Excuse me. Okay, so here is, we're on to image now, the importance of image. So here is a pair of socks. It's somebody's socks that they show on their website. So I'm going to ask you, which of the two images now coming up is going to make a difference? Okay, so the one you're going to remember is the one on the right, that's for sure. And that's why good photography, interesting images can really help you. Here's another, a scarf. And there's a really, really beautiful way to display a scarf. It's all about thinking and being creative, thinking outside the box. Okay, so people say to me, I want to tell you a story about the importance of image and how it can make a difference. I get many clients coming to me from all over the world asking me to help them to develop their brand and to sell it to agents and to find them interesting agents. A few years ago, a very nice girl rang me. She was in fashion student in Siberia, where they have a very good school actually, and she just finished and she said, I've just come out of my class and I was top of the class, I got a design award for my ideas. She said, I'd like you to help me to find an agent. Well, if you know something, when you leave as a student you don't have much money, do you? So to start a company isn't very easy. So I said, well, you know, I'm happy to help you, but my fees may be too high for somebody who's a student. She said, oh no, it's no problem at all. My father is paying for this. So I said, okay, fine, good. So I said, well, what is it you've done? So she had this idea, and when she told it to me, I thought she was crazy. So I said, what's your idea? So she said her idea was to make shoes with watches on them. Well, you know, if somebody said that you were designing shoes with watches, you'd think, no, this is never going to work. Nobody would be ever interested. So I thought, okay, I didn't want to be rude, I'm very polite, I'm English. So I said to her, okay, can I see the photographs of what you're doing so I can get some idea of what it looks like? So she sent me her photographs, and the photographs were so extraordinary and so amazing that it really displayed her creativity. So hopefully if the clicker works well, we'll see it now. So this was number one of the photograph she made. The shoes are very nice, and the way she's used the shoes is very interesting. That's the second one. Really creative ideas in showing something. The shoes were actually very, excuse me, the shoes used watches in a very subtle way. They weren't real watches, they were images of watches, but actually the shoes were really beautiful. So I said, okay, where do you want an agent? So she said, well, I want an agent in Italy. Italy, okay. Italy has a lot of shoes. They don't need any shoes from Siberia or anywhere else, actually. She said, no, I want an agent in Italy. So I said, okay, we'll go for it. So we started our research. The strange thing is we had 3 agents fighting to take this collection from Italy, from Serbia, and she was very, very successful. And there is no question, and the Italian agent agreed with me even till today, that the reason for her success was that she was able to promote her brand through her strong use of imagery. That's one more photo. Okay, so you've got a commercial product, you've made a good brand presentation, you have a good image. What do you want to do now? Okay, so the next thing is your website. Your photography on your website is very important. There's a tendency today for everybody to have immediately an online presence and sell online. Online selling is important, of course, and it's a good part of the business. But my recommendation is, if you're building a website, is you don't make it look like a marketplace, which many people do. It's really important to have a beautiful image on your website, and I'll show you one or two later so you can get some ideas. One beautiful photograph, well created, like this lady from Clocks before, can really help to present you as a professional brand rather than somebody who's created a few styles just to sell online. Social media is exemplary, the key today to getting your brand known. People will notice you through social media, and there are many different channels that you can use for that, of course. Most social media is just reaching within your own country, and it is possible to reach out to other countries with social media. So if you want to export to different countries, using social media that reaches out is a very important part of what you're doing. So social media is a way to communicate your brand. And your brand needs to have a story as well. You know, what is your story? How can you communicate what you are, what you do? What is special about your brand? Is it made by some people who have some special skills? Do you use special fabrics? Do you have unusual ideas? Is it eco? Is it organic? Does it have some other kind of features that people should know about? Maybe the history of you as the designer is interesting and people would want to know about it. But the more people know and hear about what you do, the more successful you're likely to be. So one of the important media sites is LinkedIn. This is the French version of LinkedIn, which is very similar. So it's possible to be on LinkedIn is the professional platform for fashion, reaching other professionals in fashion. Of course, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all of these platforms are really good things to use, but they're reaching more to the general public. But actually, the first thing you want people to know are the retail shops if you want to sell. So you need to reach out to retail shops, and retail shops are more likely to be using LinkedIn than other platforms. This is Vimeo. It's a good way to show what you do. I think the internet's a bit slow here. That may be the reason for this, not working very well. This is a video. Videos are very important as well in terms of presenting your image. This is a video which I think really shows this brand beautifully.
Peace, animal. I'm in here. Predator mode. I can't take it no more.
So I'm not going to move on. Okay, so blogs. I'll come back to blogs in a second, but just let me say that the more social media platforms you use, the more likely you are for people to find you. Google Analytics shows that if you have a blog, if you have a video, if you use Twitter, if you use LinkedIn, if you use Instagram, if you use Pinterest, actively you will come to the top of Google rankings. So if somebody in the world is searching for fashion dresses from Latvia, if you are actively utilizing and feeding things into the social media platform, you will come top in the Google rankings. And that's really important for people to find you, not only in Latvia, but around the world. So that you have to always be adding new things in to make it, to make people get to know you. So a lot of people thinking that the world of fashion retail shops is disappearing and that everything's going to go online. Research doesn't show that. At the moment, about 18% of sales are online in fashion around the world. They reckon it's going to grow 26 at the most. In fact, a recent survey that I saw showed that it's only going to be about 24. That means there's a very high percentage of sales will still be done in shops. And what's interesting is that online platforms now are actually opening their own shops because they realise people want to see things. And there may be different reasons for that as well. But, okay, so sound outside. So the future is bright for people who want to create dresses and clothes and accessories and jewellery and sell it to shops. Don't think online is the only way to do it. Why do some companies fail? And why do some do well? Our research shows that companies that do well are those that invest in social media, in images, and very importantly in research. If you want to export your brand, you need to research. And research to find out what people do in other countries. Okay, you've made your own brand and you've created beautiful designs, but is it sellable outside of your own country? Most brands are, but you have to find out where and how. Obviously, the ideal way to do that is to visit the country. Visit each country, go to the shops. Paris, London may not be the ideal places where to see exactly what's going on, because Paris, London, Berlin are all places where the same brands can be seen everywhere. But if you visit outside of these places, you'll see really what people are buying, and that's can be very different. You don't have to visit Paris, Berlin, or London. You can do it on the internet, and that's the beauty of the internet. You can travel all over the world and visit different places through just looking at shops, what they sell, and the prices. That's one important way that you can discover what's happening in the world. The more research you do, the better it is. Markets do differ. People wear skirts in Scotland, they don't wear them anywhere else in the world. So we talked about research. Okay, so sometimes you'll have to change your collection for the market a little bit. Maybe you'll have to make sizes different. Maybe you'll have to adjust your colours to the market. Some colours sell well in different countries, other colours don't. Interestingly enough, I met somebody a few years ago when I was giving a talk in Peru. They'd invited the fashion consultant to the Finnish government, and she was giving a presentation. It was a 1-hour presentation. Really wasn't very interesting, because Finnish fashion is quite interesting, but not for 1 hour. But she did tell us something really interesting, and that is, it's impossible to sell yellow in the spring in Finland. And what is the reason for that? It's very simple. In Finland, they have 6, 7, 8 months where it's dark most of the winter. So at the end of the winter, most people in Finland are very pale. And of course, yellow is one of those colours that doesn't look very good when you're pale. So a few years ago, when yellow was in fashion, they had a real disaster. It was a difficult situation. They had a bad season. Another story I found quite interesting recently, which was a shock for retailers. I don't know if you read, but I think it was in Thailand where the king died, and they declare 1 year of mourning. And in that 1 year, it is the law that you can only wear black. And if you look at the shops in Thailand, they had to change all the colours, the bright colours that they bought, and change the retail so that everything was black. And I saw some pictures of shops, the shop floors, where there was nothing you could see but black dresses, black trousers, black jackets, black sweaters. So that must have been a very expensive operation for the retail buyers, and quite difficult to deal with in Thailand. Black is, of course, an important colour. Is it a colour? I don't know. It's not called a colour, is it? Some years ago, a group of buyers were invited to go to the fashion fair in Berlin from London, and the fair was sponsored by the British fashion magazine. They took 50 buyers, and the idea was that they would introduce them to the various brands over there. So they asked the question to these 50 buyers before they took them into the fashion fair: what is it that you're looking for when you're going to Berlin this time? And they said, oh, we're really looking for colour. We're trying to get some colour into our shop. We're so fed up with all the different colours, with all the lack of colour. And he noted this, but when he looked around, out of the 50 people that were on this group, 49 people were actually wearing black. So people do ask for colour, but actually they often end up wearing black. That's a fact of life. I'm going to come to us in a minute, but what I want to talk about is something else. I want to go back to research, because I think we missed the slide here. Research can really do reveal some interesting facts. A few years ago, I was invited by a British fashion retail group to do some research because they wanted to open, it's a big chain of shops in the UK, they have over 500 shops. They wanted to open in Amsterdam. One thing I need to tell you in case you don't know, it's really an important fact in this story. If none of you have been to Amsterdam, everybody rides bicycles in Amsterdam. It's important for this story to understand that. So they asked me to do some research and find out what was the difference between the market in Holland and the market in London, so that they could adapt their offer when they decided to open their shops there. So they gave me really not enough money, so I couldn't do a proper research by travelling to Amsterdam. So I went to my friends in the Dutch embassy in London, and I said, could you fill in some forms, a questionnaire, because I'm doing some research, and they kindly agreed. So I asked 20 people there, and I took a typical target group from London, asked them the same questions. And what was really interesting was the answers to 2 questions which always stay with me. So the first question was, what's the thing you first think of when you go shopping? What are you looking for when you go shopping for clothing for yourself? So the Dutch people said, is it practical? Will it wash? How long can I wear this for before it goes out of fashion? And most importantly, can I ride my bicycle with it? Very important for them. We asked the British group of 20 people the same question, and the answer was, only one answer actually, is it fashionable? That's the way many British think. The second question also stood out for me, that was also very interesting. We asked the Dutch, what colours do they like to buy when they go shopping? What are they looking for? The Dutch all said, oh, we like orange, we like blue, we like green, we like red. If you know the Dutch, they love bright colours. When we asked the British target group the same question, we like black, we like beige, we like grey, we like brown. We want to be fashionable, but we don't want anybody to notice. That's the difference. So that's how it works, and that's how you have to think. So this group, they opened their shop in Amsterdam. There were other questions, but I won't go into them now, but they did make their offer much brighter than they normally do for the UK market, and they've been very successful there. Okay, so let's go back. You've developed your brand, you have your social media in place, you've got your collection ready to sell. Now you need to find somebody to sell it. So you have to find, you have the choice of going to a fashion show, and I'll talk about fashion shows in a minute, a fashion fair, or you have the choice to go and find an agent to sell for you. Now, what I'm going to say is actually quite important now. To explain the difference. For you students, it may not be so interesting, but it is actually very important. There are two kinds of ways of selling. There are agents and there are distributors. Now, what is the difference? An agent, you'll present him with your collection. He will take it to the shop. He will sell it. He will send you the orders. You deliver the order to the shop. You collect the money from the shop. You pay the agent commission. That's how it works. Good agents can be very successful for you. But it does mean that you're responsible for all the payments, and that can be, and you have to run an office, and that can be quite a lot of work. So many people prefer to work with a distributor. A distributor, he'll do the same thing, he'll take orders, but he'll send you one bulk order, the order will be delivered to him, he will deliver to the shop, he will collect the money, he will pay you. So if you can find a distributor, that's a much better way. They're harder to find, but that's the key way to work. Agents usually want about 12 to 15% commission. Distributors ask for a big discount on your wholesale price. So when it comes to pricing your collection, once you've made it, what is very important, and I'm just going to jump back to online here. So if you have an online collection and you're selling it for €100 online, it's very important that the wholesale price that you sell to shops means that the shop can sell it for the same price as online. Otherwise, you'll have problems. The world is very international and people can see things very easily. When you're selling in other countries, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to buy. It's a very competitive world. So you want to make it that easy as for the shops to buy as possible. So when you're making your pricing, it should include everything that is to do with the costing. So it should include the freight, it should include the commission and any potential duty. So this will really help to make your brand be more successful and more easy to sell. Making sure you get paid. There are many people who ask for money, payments before delivery, and that's the way to do it for so many of you when you start off. You can ask for a payment, and you have to remember, think about the retailer. You're going to be showing something new to them. They don't know if you're going to deliver it on time, in the right colour, in the right delivery time, in the right size, in the right fitting. You put yourself in their shoes. That's at the beginning. Once you're established, it's different. So in the beginning, they may say to you, I don't want to pay for all of this before I see it. So you may have to take some kind of risk. And that's where I go back to the beginning. There is always a small risk involved in business. And that risk means you may have to give the shop some credit before you start. But there are people who can guarantee your risk for you. There is a third way of working, which I haven't mentioned, and that is there are specialist companies, financial logistic companies, companies who will help to do all of these things for you. They can collect the money from your shop for you, they can deliver for you, they can pick and pack for you once you're established. It's another way to work, and anybody who's interested in those kind of details can come and ask me afterwards. How do you find the right countries for yourself? Well, I kind of talked about that before, and I would say the key to that is research. One way to research, of course, is to go to fashion fairs. I'm sorry about that. Seems to be going backwards now for no reason. I think I'm going to abandon this. I'm not happy about the using this. I'll just talk through what I want to talk about. Okay, so let me see, where are we? Deliveries, colour, selling. Okay, fashion seasons. Most shops buy pre-ordering. So many shops today will want to order for the 6 months ahead of the period of time. Other shops will be buying just in the current season. There is more and more demand to buy for delivery in the current season. So if you can offer that, that's really good. But the key selling times are end of July through to end of September for summer 18, summer of the next year, and January through to the end of March for winter collections. That's for people who are selling forward order. So your collection has to be ready nice and early. I know in Latvia and in a lot of Baltic countries, a lot of business is done on consignment, where you take the collection, your clothes into the store, and then you go back later and collect what didn't sell. That is not very common in most of the rest of Europe or the rest of the world, but and I wouldn't advise that. It's too difficult to manage. Your relationship with the agent is very important. How do you find agents? Agents are not easy to find. You can search on the internet. You can go and visit fashion fairs and hope that they'll find you. Then there's the work that we do, which is to help people to find agents. The relationship with the agent is very, very important. The closer your relationship with the agent, the more successful that he will be for you and you will be for him. Agents need help as well. They need help promoting the brand, and that's why we go back to the social media that we talked about before. So I'll just talk briefly about the work we do. We do something unique in the world. There isn't any other company in the world that does what we do. We help fashion brands to find agents. We've done something nobody's ever done before. We've created the first ever international database of agents and distributors. We're connected with more than 40,000 people worldwide. We can find agents for brands in most countries in the world. We have a website. We create a page on our website for every client, and we send information about new brands to agents to see if we can interest them. We find clients for most of our agents, for most of our brands, because the work we do is so very different to anybody else. So I'm going to sort of end up by just talking briefly about the important things that really matter. So you have a brand, you have a plan, you're going to develop your image and your logos, you're going to develop your social media, you're going to make sure your pricing is right, you're going to see what happens in other markets by researching, you're going to find yourself an agent. One thing I didn't talk about is fashion fairs. My view is a little bit different to many others on fashion fairs. I am not a great believer in showing at fashion fairs unless you have somebody to represent you. If you have somebody to represent you, they can bring traffic to you when you visit the stand. I know a lot of trade boards offer to sponsor you to go to Paris or go to Milan or go to Florence, but I know that 9 out of 10 people that go to these fashion fairs for the first time are not successful if they have no representation. There are so many brands, it's so competitive, that I wouldn't particularly recommend you do that. It's much better you spend whatever money you have in trying to find somebody to represent you, to show your brand so that people can get to know it. So, show your brand. One other thing I really believe in is made in Latvia. Why not? I've nothing to be ashamed of. Be proud of it. Be passionate about it. I think in the back of the neck of your label should say made in Latvia. It's a growing trend now. More and more countries are bringing their production back to their homeland. In Germany, in UK, there's a strong mood for people to develop production at home again, to get away from made in China or made in India. Nothing wrong with doing that, but I think if you're supporting your home industry, and you should be proud of it, be passionate about it. I say this especially to students. Be proud of being Latvian, be proud of the fact that you're making something, designing something in Latvia, because I think people will really like that. So I'd encourage you to make a start as soon as you can to do that. So I leave you with the last thought, which is just remember to have all your images. And I'm sorry this isn't working properly, but maybe it's me, I don't know. Because there were some nice images I wanted to show you at the end. So thank you very much. Okay. Now, if there's any questions and you'd like to ask them in your own language, please do so. My friend here has kindly offered to translate if necessary.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry for technical injuries. Okay, jā, mums ir jautājumi. Es iedošu šobrīd mikrofonus vēlreiz, lai visu var dzirdēt. Laižiet! Es nākšu tuvāk.
Only one question.
Yeah.
How much pay?
It's between 1,500 and 3,000 euros. It depends on what kind of help you need.
Per hour?
Per minute.
I have a question on the trend that you mentioned, going back to producing at home.
Yes.
Actually contradicts what we're talking about trying to export. So I'm just someone who's starting in this business, so I would be really appreciating if you could give your vision on how this is going to probably play out with more people coming back to producing at home. At the same time, it could be creating a risk for us to sell abroad, like for example in the UK. If I go with made in Latvia, but people want to buy made in UK.
All I'm saying is if you're a Latvian brand and you're making it in Latvia, be proud of that, because it will be of interest to people in other countries to know where it comes from and the fact that it's made there. And people know, particularly in the Baltic countries, there's a lot of history of sewing and handmaking, and they know the quality is good. And of course it's up to the Latvian government to promote that as well. But that's why I believe in it. And if you want to buy made in UK and Latvia, that's a different question. Because we like to say made in England or made in UK as well, because that's important. So there's a growing number of factories in the UK making things and putting it on the label, and they feel much better than when before it said made in India or made in China, because that puts a lot of people off. Unfortunately, some countries have that cachet. You know, if it's made in India or made in China, quality might not be so good always.
Thank you.
Hi there. What to do if you have a very innovative idea? Do you need to do like a patent or something?
Sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't quite hear.
If you have very kind of specific and innovative idea, do you need to patent it? How do you deal with the copying and everything? It used to be 7 differences, now it's only 5.
You can patent things, you can patent designs. It's expensive, I believe. I'm not a great believer in the need to patent things. I think if people want to copy you, great, let them do that. Move on. You make your money from your design by selling it, and then move on to the next thing. Because my son lives in Shanghai, and he makes, it does something very interesting, he makes reclaimed wood flooring. And he was always paranoid that people were going to copy him. And they did, because everybody in China copies everybody. And so they did copy him, but it didn't really matter because every 6 months he made new products. And if you're in fashion, that's what you're doing. So be flattered if they copy you.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you. Vai mums ir vēl kāds jautājums? Droši, nekautrēties. Tiešām nav viens jautājums. Es esmu pārliecināts, ka ir, jo es redzēju, ka blakus sēdošiem bija ļoti daudz pierakstīts uz dāmas. Jūs citi pierakstījāt.
Can I ask you who's your favorite designer, dead and alive?
Well, you may not know him, I don't know, but my favourite menswear designer is somebody called John Varvatos, who's from New York. He does men's, I think he's really interesting. Women's, yeah, too many.
Okay, thank you.
Paldies. Tā, mums ir vēl kāds jautājums. Droši varat uzdot latviešu valodā. Nekāda problēma. Kopīgi iztulkosim. Tā, nav viens jautājums. Nu, tad, Anton, I have one question. As absolutely non-professional, what is the most typical question the audience asking to you worldwide? The most typical question.
That's a difficult one.
I know.
I suppose most people want to know what is the key to being successful in exporting. So it's a very simple one, and my answer always is to research. If you research successfully, to find out how your brand will work and how it will work in other countries. So yeah, how can we be successful exporting?
But this means that I will be for sure successful if I use, for example, your consultancy?
I would like to think that the answer is yes, because we are very successful, but you need all your professional things in place. Your collection, social media, once you have everything in place, you have a much greater chance of being successful. So when you're arriving in another country, you're ready to export, and people will respect you as a professional company making a professional presentation.
Thank you.
You mentioned about Brexit.
Yes.
How is that going to affect export between EU and UK? I at the moment live in UK.
Thank you for bringing that back, yes. The slide went missing. I'm a little different again. I'm a little different in two things, and I'll come back to the other one in a minute, which is to do with contract, which I didn't talk about. I'm a great believer that Brexit will make no difference to anything at all. At the moment, we are affected by anybody who's importing because the cost has gone up. So production in the UK has gone up in that sense. As a consultancy, we're enjoying great benefit of Brexit because most of my clients are paying me in euros and dollars. So thank you very much for getting 80% more than we had before. But I think in the end, people want to do business together. There's no reason why people should put barriers up between Europe and us. I mean, it makes no sense. They want to buy from us, we want to buy from them. I think it's politics that's going on here quite a lot. There's fear going on quite a lot. There's the media more than anything. You know, I'm not a great fan of Mr. Trump, but you know, I'm a great believer in fake news. And I think this is, a lot of news stories are going on at the moment about Brexit. They're never ending. I personally think after a year or so, the exchange rates are going to level off. We'll come to an agreement where we're maybe paying 1-2% more, 1-2% less for imports or exports, and people will look back in 10 years' time and say, what was Brexit all about? That's my view. And just one more thing, because it just reminded me of something I didn't talk about, is when you work in another country and you make a contract, people think, oh, how do I make a contract? You know, a legal contract is very complicated. Don't worry about a contract, because if you make a very simple agreement on a piece of paper, with all the points of the agreement, it's the same as a legal document, and that's all you need to do.
Thank you. Tā, varbūt jums ir vēl kāds jautājums, kur mēs varētu finišēt šī brīža diskusiju kopā ar Antonu? Nu, izskatās laikam, ka nebūs. We are at the questions. So one more time, thank you very much, Mr. Anton Dell.